The sun rose over the small village of Baobab, casting a golden glow over its barren, cracked earth. The villagers stirred to life with weary faces, knowing another day of drought awaited them. Among them was Amina, an orphan girl shunned by most villagers. Left alone since childhood, she was forced to fend for herself, surviving off scraps and finding solace only in the quiet company of the nearby Baobab forest. One fateful morning, after a particularly harsh night without water, Amina ventured into the forest, seeking respite from the scorching sun. As she wandered deeper, the cool shade and whispering trees seemed to welcome her, offering her a sense of peace and protection she rarely felt in the village. Little did she know that this day would mark the beginning of an extraordinary journey that would change her life and the fate of her village forever. As Amina moved deeper into the forest, she stumbled upon an ancient clearing with a massive, twisted baobab tree at its heart. Intrigued, she approached it, feeling an unexplainable pull. Suddenly, a soft voice echoed around her, calling her name. Startled, Amina looked around but saw no one. The voice spoke again, more clearly, instructing her to place her hand upon the tree and close her eyes. Hesitant yet curious, Amina obeyed. As her palm touched the tree's bark, a wave of warmth washed over her, and a vision of rain, lush lands, and thriving crops filled her mind. The spirit of the baobab tree revealed itself, telling her she had been chosen to be the village's rain summoner. The spirit's blessing was both a gift and a test, and Amina felt a surge of power within her she had never known before. Returning to the village, Amina felt transformed but kept her newfound abilities a secret. She spent days practicing in the forest, learning to summon raindrops from the sky and make tiny plants bloom. Her connection to nature grew stronger, and with each passing day, her power became more profound. For the first time in her life, she felt a sense of purpose beyond mere survival. However, her absence from the village did not go unnoticed. The villagers began to whisper about her strange disappearances into the forest, some claiming that she dabbled in dark magic. Her only friend, a kind-hearted boy named Kofi, defended her, but rumors spread quickly. Even though she brought rain and life, suspicion began to poison the villagers' hearts. One evening, as Amina stood at the edge of the village and summoned a gentle rain over their dry fields, the villagers were astonished to see life returning to their land. Crops that had withered began to revive, and animals found water once again. The once hostile villagers could not ignore the change and started questioning who was behind the miraculous rain. To their surprise, Kofi boldly proclaimed that Amina was responsible, hoping they would recognize her as a hero. But instead, the villagers grew wary, their mistrust fueled by the old tales of spirits and curses that plagued their minds. Amina's heart ached, as her gift, meant to help, had only brought more suspicion and division. Despite their wariness, the villagers grew reliant on Amina's rain, and soon she was tasked with bringing rain regularly. She complied, hopeful that her actions would win their trust. But as her powers grew, so did the burden of the villagers' demands. They began to see her less as a person and more as a tool for their survival, with little regard for her well-being. One night, exhausted from summoning rain, Amina returned to the forest to seek the guidance of the baobab spirit. The spirit warned her that her powers were not infinite and that if abused, they could fade forever. She realized that she had to protect her gift, for it was not just her own survival that depended on it but also the future of the village. As the months passed, the villagers' demands turned greedy. They began to request more than rain, wealth, prosperity, and luxuries beyond nature's gift. Amina grew weary, struggling to balance her powers with their endless desires. The villagers saw her exhaustion but ignored it, their greed clouding their judgment and pushing her closer to the brink. One day, she refused to summon rain, explaining that her powers needed rest. Furious, the villagers turned on her, accusing her of withholding their blessings. Their harsh words cut deep, and even Kofi, her only friend, found himself conflicted as the villagers' anger mounted. Amina felt more alone than ever, abandoned by the people she had sacrificed so much to help. Amina fled to the baobab forest, tears streaming down her face. She cried out to the baobab spirit, questioning why she had been given such a painful gift. The spirit appeared before her, offering words of wisdom. It explained that true power was a double-edged sword and that her journey was about more than just summoning rain, it was about learning to stand firm in the face of adversity. Emboldened by the spirit's advice, Amina returned to the village, ready to reclaim her dignity. She vowed to protect her power from those who sought to exploit it. But she knew she would face an even greater challenge, the villagers' resistance to change. Her heart grew heavy, but she felt a newfound strength guiding her. The villagers, noticing her defiance, grew hostile, accusing her of cursing their land. They demanded she relinquish her powers or leave the village. Amina stood her ground, explaining that her gift was not to be abused but cherished and respected. Her words fell on deaf ears, and the villagers turned against her, declaring her a danger to their survival. Realizing she had no place among them anymore, Amina returned to the baobab forest for solace. She found peace among the trees, her heart heavy yet resolved. She knew her journey with the villagers had ended, but she hoped they would remember the lessons she had tried to teach them. News of Amina's departure spread, and soon the villagers found themselves without the rain they had come to rely on. Crops began to wither, and thirst returned to their lands. Some villagers began to regret their harsh treatment of Amina, while others stubbornly clung to their pride. Kofi, saddened by his friend's absence, tried to rally the villagers to seek forgiveness. With heavy hearts, a small group, led by Kofi, ventured into the baobab forest to find Amina. They humbled themselves before her, acknowledging their mistakes and asking for her forgiveness. Though hurt, Amina recognized their sincerity, and with the blessing of the baobab spirit, she granted rain once more as a final act of compassion. The rain returned, rejuvenating the land and teaching the villagers a lasting lesson about respect, humility, and gratitude. Amina, no longer bound to their demands, chose to live on the edge of the baobab forest, where she could practice her powers freely and protect the balance of nature. In time, the villagers honored her from afar, remembering her not as a tool but as the rain summoner who had once saved them. Her story became a legend, passed down through generations as a tale of redemption, respect for nature, and the strength found within one's heart. And so, the legacy of Amina, the orphan girl who summoned rain, lived on, her spirit forever intertwined with the baobab forest and the land she had loved so deeply. End of the story. If you enjoyed this story, please like, comment, and subscribe to Tales of Mame Campbell for more heartwarming and inspiring tales. Please also share with others.